Hello, I'm Steven.
Why do you do this? I'm Danielle.
And we are turning two into one. Okay, all right, cool. All right, so this work on me Wednesday. Not work on her. Not she work on me. Me work on me Wednesday.
And as you guys can see, he needs a lot of work.
I'm under construction.
Yeah, we see that.
All right, here we go. So we met with a beautiful couple on Monday, and shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are.
Right.
And so one of the things that we talked about was decisiveness, right? So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of A.R. Bernard. He's a pastor out in New York, state of New York, in New York City, I believe he is. And so he wrote a book called The Four Things Women Want from a Man. And there are four things. So one is maturity, strength, consistency, and decisiveness. And so we're going to start unfolding some of that as we talk about those traits, because I think that those are things that every person needs. More importantly, I think those are traits that every man needs, because it gives the woman a firm foundation as it relates to the relationship, because this is what she needs, this is what she wants. Give her those things. So if you give her consistency, we'll show what that looks like, and we'll show what strength looks like, because we have a different ideal of what strength really is and what it ain't. So we'll work into that. Maturity. Some people think they mature and they not really. Paul said that when I was a boy, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But then when I became a man, I put away childish things, right? So then that means that there was a transition that he made. And when he made that transition, he got rid of the childish thinking. It didn't fade away. Right. He got rid of it.
And there were some ways that went along with the thinking.
Exactly.
So there were some actions that went away.
So we'll talk about that when we get to maturity.
Okay.
All right. But right now, we're talking about decisiveness. Can you spell that? Decisiveness. All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right.
So decisiveness speaks to being able to make a decision.
Now, what I caution people against is being thoughtless in making their decisions. What we've always talked about is how people will spend 30, 40 minutes trying to decide on what dress they're going to wear, what kind of shoes they're going to wear, but they don't take 3 seconds to decide to sleep with this gal, sleep with this girl. They don't take 3 seconds to decide to smoke this or smoke that. Right. You know what I'm saying? They take really short amount of time to decide stuff that really has a really, really large impact.
Lasting. Right.
So my thought is that, okay, we need to take time to make these decisions. We need to know how to make these decisions, right, and the best way to do them. All right. So let's get into this. Are you going to drink that way while we're doing the thing?
Yeah. Why? Is it affecting anybody?
Okay.
All right.
Drink it. It's tea anyway.
It's just tea. Just Earl Grey.
And there's no stuff in it either. It's just tea. Water and tea. Spell tea for me.
Oh.
Tea.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right, so the first thing you should do is get as much information as you possibly can about the decision, right? So if you're going to purchase a house or maybe do a large ticket item or something like that, get as much information as you can. The internet is really good at being able to gather information.
Right.
All right? And pulling all that information together. And so if you're going to buy a car, you need to know about that car, the model car, maybe it's repair records, how much it's going to cost you. You can get Carfax or, just any number of things that you can do, consumer reports, looking at the repair rates and all that kind of stuff, whatever. But get as much information as you possibly can, all right? The second thing is make a list of pros and cons,
right.
The goods and the bads, right? With everything, there are goods and bads, all right? And so, go ahead.
I was going to say about as far as the good and the bad. Even when you make a decision about something, you should know that you're going to give up something by making a decision to get something.
Yes.
So there is going to be a give and a take, no matter what you decide.
So you buy a new car,
Yeah.
you might not buy the red bottoms.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Right.
you know, it's just there's a
Yeah.
give and a take. So my pop used to say that you got what you wanted, but you lost what you
Right.
had. So there's an exchange that takes place. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
All right. Don't and it's important that you remember that, because a lot of times what people try and do is they try and make this decision to grab this and then also try and hold on to this.
Right.
And because
And
they
it's
don't
not
let it
always
go,
possible
it's not
to
always
do that.
possible, and they get into bigger problems, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So one thing that I wrote down too is that you want to figure out what your goals are, all right, and whether or not this decision is in line with your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're a family and you're looking at buying another car, or even buying a house, right, and you say, all right, well, we want to move out of this apartment and we want to get into a house. What is your goals?
Right.
Are your goals to move into this place for long term, short term? Is Junior getting ready to go to college, or he going to high school? You know what I'm saying? You have to take all of that into account when you're getting ready to make this decision, because when you say yes to something, you also say yes to something else.
Right.
And you might be saying no to some other things that you want to do.
Yeah, because it really just depends on the length of time that you're committing to. Because a
Exactly.
house is maybe at most a 30-year commitment.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a 15-year commitment, but you know what? A car could be a 2-year lease. It could be a 4-year lease. It could be
Exactly.
whatever. So
Yeah.
you want to look at, where do I want to be in 30 years if it's a house, or 15 years if it's a house, and where do I want to be if it's a lease or something like that. So you have to think.
You have to weigh all that out,
long-term.
lay it all out, and whether or not this will accomplish whatever your overall goal
Yeah.
is for the family, or even if you're single, right?
Absolutely.
So you're going to have to look at the possible outcomes that are connected to that decision.
Right.
All right? Cool. So you want to look at your past decisions.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I want to caution you, because with this step here, I don't want you to rest on your past decisions. So if you've made some bad past decisions, what that means is not that you stop making decisions, but that you go to number one first, get more information.
Right.
Okay? Because the reason you made the last bad decision might have been because you just didn't have enough information.
Right.
Second thing is that you want to also get counsel. And that's important,
very
because in the multitude of counsel, there's wisdom. There's wisdom in that counsel, talking to other people whom you trust, whom have results.
Right.
Now, don't talk to Johnny Bum if he don't have nothing, and you trying to get something, and you asking him questions about he had nothing. No, you need to ask some people that have gotten some things,
Right.
and maybe have gone the path that you're trying to go,
Right.
and then ask them, hey, look, what did you do? What did you do with this hand when this came, and how did you handle it, and this and that? Okay.
And the really good thing about making decisions is that the more you make, the better you
The
become.
better off you get, because this process becomes faster.
Right.
It looks laborious now,
Yeah.
and it seems tedious now, but the faster the more decisions you make, the faster this process becomes. So if somebody asks me now, they say, all right, well, would you like to buy this car? Okay, I done already figured out, okay, how much is the car? How much is it going to cost me? How much do I have at the end of the month? The insurance is probably going to cost me X, Y, and Z. My insurance will probably go up this, and this. I've already kind of worked that out, and it doesn't take a very long time to be able to do it once you're used to making those decisions.
Right.
And one of the key things, too, is it in line with your goals? You might want a new car, but is it in line with your overall goals? If you're saying to yourself, well, you know what, next year I want to take a vacation, that car may keep you from taking that vacation.
Sure.
And is it worth it? You have to lay those things up against each other. Okay.
Yeah, and if you're trying to come out of debt, is it something that you really want to commit yourself to, or is it something that you can pay cash for something? You can always, start saving your money up so that you can be able to do something debt free. So it just depends on what your goals are and where you see yourself in the future.
You look really sleepy.
I always look sleepy because I can always take a nap, but that's a whole nother
All right.
story.
So we talked about lining them up with your goals. All right, cool. So, okay, cool. Will the decision move you closer to your goals or further away? Some decisions will set you back. Some decisions will move you forward. Some decisions are neutral.
Right.
But even a neutral decision, which are very few and far between, very, very few decisions are neutral. Okay? Just about every decision either moves you forward or moves you back. Excuse me. You just have to know which direction you're going into and be prepared for that. You want to be prepared for what happens on the backside of that decision.
Right.
If it doesn't turn out right, what is the protocol for that? How do you handle that?
Right.
What's your steps? Some decisions, once you start moving down that path, it's much more difficult to back up from it. So you need to know and prepare yourself for, okay, once I make this decision, I got to plow on through. I got to push through on this to the other side. Okay.
And I think it's very important to know that even if the decision is a bad decision, don't become squeamish about making more decisions.
No.
Because a lot of the top leaders that we have nowadays, and even in the past, can attest that they've all made bad decisions. But that
they didn't make a bad decision knowing it was a bad
Right.
decision. You understand what I'm saying? They made a bad decision thinking it was a good decision to make, and it turned out bad.
Right.
So under those circumstances, here's the thought: would you willingly make a bad decision? If you made a bad decision because you didn't have information, because you didn't seek wise counsel, it's because you didn't follow the steps to make a good decision.
Right.
So now, don't be squeamish. Like she said, you can't stop making decisions.
Right.
Because
That's how you become a better leader.
Exactly. By making those decisions, following the steps, and eventually you'll start making really good decisions, and those bad decisions will just be in the past. They'll be faded away.
Yep, those will be building blocks to your success.
Oh yeah, building blocks. Away. All right, cool. All right, is that it? I think that's
Looks
it.
like you got it all.
Oh, also, last thing, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Follow the steps, and then do it. Make the decision. No decision is a decision.
Yeah.
Whether it's a decision. If you just sit there, because the world keeps moving. So if you say, well, I'm not going to decide, I'm not going to buy a house. Well, guess what? You did decide.
Yeah.
You decided to not buy the house. I mean, if you say I'm going to sit here and wait, okay, fine.
Waiting is still a decision.
It's still a decision. You're allowing something to just pass you by or whatever, but you still got to make a decision. So let's just do it. For those of you who are married, one of the things that you want to be careful and do is to talk to your spouse, talk to your husband, talk to your wife. See what their take is on it. Okay, hear what they have to say on it. Don't just make the decision in isolation, and then you make a decision that all of us got to suffer for.
Because it all affects.
But you didn't ask
everybody.
us. But you just went on and made the decision.
Right.
Don't do that. Even the wisest king has counsel.
Yes.
Okay. Even the highest CEO has people that he talks to. Okay. You got presidents that have their own cabinet, and they sit down with advisors and talk to them. So no matter who you are, you're going to have to talk to somebody if you're going to make those wise decisions. And if you're living with somebody whom is the product of your intelligent decision, meaning your spouse, then if you were wise in choosing them, then ask them some questions and see what they say. If you were wise. I'll put the if in. Because, so, all right. But that is it for today. Decisiveness.
Decisiveness.
The steps to decisiveness. Have a wonderful evening.
Yep. We'll see you on Monday.
See you on Monday. What are we talking about Monday?
I don't know. We'll see.
We're still dealing with the order of the house.
The order of the house. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're still dealing with the order of the house. So on
we'll
Monday.
go back into that. Yeah.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Never give in.
Never give up.
And never ever let go.